let's just do it, okay? Chapter 3, okay? So this is where we didn't finish this. Additional customers and information, yada, yada. So the question here is, how do you set up collect sales tax and pay sales tax? Okay, so we already talked about how to set up the sales tax or create the sales tax item, okay? Now, how do we collect the sales tax and how do we pay for the sales tax? Yes, this was in chapter 3.
Go to your items list,
Okay.
click items and services,
Okay, so that's to create.
and then you'll choose new.
Uh, okay.
And select sales tax item.
Okay.
And you'll enter the sales tax name, description, tax rate, and
Okay.
tax agency.
All right, so let's talk about how do you set up sales tax? How do you tell QuickBooks to use the sales tax on forms?
Don't you have to enter in the percentage of the sales tax? You have to check that every time to make sure it's the right amount.
Okay, so in that case, that's when you set up the item to use on the form. But in this case, I have to tell QuickBooks that I'm charging sales tax. Where do I set that up?
Manage sales tax from the home page.
Correct, right? You can go to manage sales tax. And then where do you go from there? If I click on manage sales tax on my homepage, where does that take me?
From the sales tax dialog box, click sales tax preferences.
Yeah, so in this case, if I click on sales tax preferences, where is this familiar window that we see many times? It's your edit preferences window. Okay.
Edit menu.
And then you would click on sales tax. Okay. So you could go through manage sales tax to set it up. So when you set up the sales tax, right, it's telling you, do you charge sales tax? Yes or no? And if you select no, you don't need to worry about creating, collecting, or anything. But what about if I do? Then you need to turn that on. You need to activate it. When you activate it, it's going to now appear on your sales forms. Now, what is the common sales tax you use in order for you to initialize that this item is taxable, right? You need to set up your sales tax code. So in this case, not only do you have to create items, right? You also need to create sales tax codes, right? So good, manage transactions and set sales tax preferences, right? How do I collect my sales tax?
It's collected separately, isn't it? And it goes into a separate account to send to the tax agency.
Yeah, but how do I collect it? How do I charge my customer sales tax and collect it?
Item.
What was that, Orlando?
A line item.
Not a line item. How do I charge my customers sales tax? What do I need to use in order to charge my customers sales tax?
You would label it if it's a service or if it's a tax.
Okay, but where? Where in QuickBooks do I do that in order to collect it?
In a sales form.
Use a sales form, correct, right? The questions I'm asking are very, very easy. You guys are just making it harder than it is, okay? So I'm asking a very, very simplified question. Where do you charge? How do you charge your customers sales tax? By charging them on the sales form. So if it's a created invoice, what does it say at the bottom? Tax, right here. This is where you charge your customers for tax. And then you select whatever sales tax item you're gonna be charging them at, okay? So on sales form is how you collect it, okay? On sales forms, okay? Whether it's an invoice or sales receipt, okay? How do you pay it? How do you pay the sales tax? How do I pay my sales tax? There's a couple ways that you can do it, but the more obvious one, how do I pay my sales tax?
You're in the home page.
We're on the home page.
Go to pay bills.
It's not a bill.
Manage sales tax.
Manage sales tax.
Where is that?
It's on your home page.
Oh,
It's at
okay,
the
I
very
see.
top. And then where do you go from there?
Right there where it says pay sales
There
tax.
you go. Exactly. So right there you pay sales tax. Good. Awesome. The second way is going up to the vendor's menu, clicking sales tax tab, and then you'd be able to pay your sales tax there as well. Okay. So how do I pay? Manage sales tax on home page. Pay sales tax. Okay. Never use write checks.
Yeah.
Okay. In this case, it's a separate liability that you're paying that it's already collected for you. If you use a write checks, it will bump you saying, hey, if you're trying to make a liability payment, use the sales tax payment window. Okay. And if you say, no, I'm going to override it, then your sales tax will never decrease. Okay. All right, Chapter 5, Bank Reconciliation. Once again, how do you do a bank reconciliation? Well, let's first talk about why. Why is a bank reconciliation necessary? And then we could talk about how. Why?
That will tell you if something hasn't been processed, if something is still outstanding.
Good, right? To track where your money goes. Okay? So if you wrote a check, you can keep track of when it clears. Okay? The deposits you've made have cleared. Okay? Okay. Can you reconcile more than a than the bank account?
Yes. You can
Yes.
do the credit cards, anything that has a statement.
Okay. Good. So in this case, the more common one is a bank reconciliation. Okay. How do I do
Anything
that?
with the register.
Anything with the register, correct. So let me put that in here. You can reconcile any account that has a register. Hence, if you guys remember, these are your permanent accounts, which is i.e. any asset / liability / equity accounts. Okay. All right, how do I do that? How do I initiate my bank reconciliation?
By comparing it with the statement.
Okay, but I meant physically, how do I navigate in QuickBooks to be able to
Okay.
enter it? So anyhow is going to be questions in regards to navigating in QuickBooks.
So the question is how to record?
How do I reconcile my bank in QuickBooks? Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's we go to Ribbon Bond Bank.
What?
Okay, 1 second.
Homepage, banking, reconcile.
Okay. How do I? Oh, where? What do you say? Homepage.
Banking, and then reconcile.
Good. Right here on the home page under banking section, just click reconcile. Right? And there you go. You're going to initiate your bank reconciliation. Okay?
Begin reconciliation window.
Yeah. Second thing that you could do is go to banking and you can reconcile. Okay?
Banking, reconcile.
Okay? So how? Home page. Reconcile or banking menu. Reconcile. Okay. All right. Now, payroll. Payroll. This whole section here is payroll. Or this whole section we did not do. Okay. So starting with payroll. Okay. Number one. Okay. The difference between the payroll services available from QuickBooks. Okay. So what are the 3 services that QuickBooks offer? There's 3 of them. Payroll services that Intuit offers to automatically do payroll for you.
Payroll account, payroll item.
No. These are services that you have to pay. There's monthly subscriptions. It's written in your book.
The 3 choices are basic, enhanced, and assisted.
Good. Basic, enhanced, and assisted. Okay? Now, in this case, do you need to know in depth what each one do? No, just know the general information. Basic, you're only limited to only paying your employees and paying liabilities, but it's also subjective to how many employees you're paying, right? I don't know what the number is, but you can go ahead and open up the employees section on the menu bar and select payroll service options, and it will give you the details on what each one can do. Okay? So that's that right there. Right? How to set up payroll using payroll setup interview. Okay, so in this case, when you do that, you have to set up the compensations, benefits, and deductions. you have to set up the employees, and then you have to set up the federal taxes, okay? And then, of course, you have to set up year-to-date stuff, okay? Now, question here is, how do you set that up? How do you set it up?
From the employees menu, select payroll setup.
Mm-hmm. Okay, my question is, okay, that's how you initiate the interview, but my question is, how do you set up the compensations, benefits, and deductions?
Oh,
Is that by using the payroll setup checklist, the 12 things? I'm sorry, 10 things?
You could use that. That's not necessarily going to help you.
it's a wizard.
Yeah, we are in the wizard.
You will set up commission item, workbook display.
Okay, so in this case, make sure you know your compensations, right? So that in this case, I'm going to skip this part just because in this case, I already gave you what they are. When you go through the wizard, you're going to set up the compensations, the benefits, the deductions, right? You're going to set up one employee. If you want to set up all your employees, you may do so, but is it necessary? No. You can, but it will show you the necessary things that you need to have when setting up your employees, okay? Setting up your federal and state taxes. So what agencies you work with to pay for those taxes. What methods do you use to pay them? How often are you going to pay them? Okay, so in this case, first one is setting up how you pay your customers. What benefits you offer? Do you offer Medicare? Do you offer 401k plans? Do you have any deductions such as fringe benefits? Okay.
How to
So,
pay your customers or how to pay your employees?
I'm sorry, employees, yes. Okay. So compensations, how are you going to pay them? Are you going to pay them on an hourly rate, salary rate? Are they based on only commissions? Do they get bonuses? Do they get paid time off? Okay. That's what this is, okay? Setting up for your employees, what information do you need? You may need a birth certificate if they're a legal, to prove that they are American citizen. Okay, if they're not, and you allowed to have green card workers, you need to obtain their green card, their temporary social security number, okay, or their work visa. Okay, yes, it does exist. And you need to have the W-4 form for how they want to get taxed. You need to have a legal license, okay? Whether it's a state identification or a driver's license that has their residential area. Because again, when you're filing taxes for them, they're going to be taxed on where they live, not where they work, okay? You need other things such as, the identification card, green card, social security card. You need a social security card, okay? So all that information that you need to have for an employee. Okay, setting up your federal tax, I already talked about that. Okay, so how to set up sick and vacation pay, I already showed you how to do that. How to track your vacation and sick pay, right? The question's going to ask you, how many hours do you allow a person to claim? Okay, so in our example, we said Katie can only claim up to 80 hours. Okay. All right, so the next section is how and why to set up payroll schedules. What's so important about payroll schedules?
It'll help you know when to pay your employees.
Good, right? Know when you need to pay your employees. Excellent. Okay. And then, but the most common one is if certain employees are paid on different schedules. Also known as if someone's on a bi-weekly, like your hourly people get paid every 2 weeks, but your salary people are paid every twice a month. Yes, you can have that happen. Okay. Now, how do you set that up? How do you set that up?
Gather the information and activate the payroll function.
No.
You said, how did you set it up?
How do you set up a payroll schedule? How do you assign somebody is going to get paid on a biweekly and someone else is going to be paid twice a month? How do you set that up?
Would it be in the employee,
Employee,
manage employee information?
not manage employee information, but you're close. It's going to be under employee defaults. Okay, so when you click on employee defaults, you'll get this window, right? You're going to click on payroll scheduler and you're going to click new. This is what I'm talking about. So if this person is on a semi-monthly, right? They get paid twice a month. You could tell them the exact date of when the next paycheck is going to be due, and how to keep track of their payroll information or their timesheets. Okay, so that's the pay scheduler. Okay, so how employee, that's just one way. Employee defaults. Okay. Payroll scheduler. Okay. All right. Using employee defaults, okay, to help set up each employee's earnings and deductions. What's the purpose of setting up employee defaults? Why is it so important to set up employee defaults?
The default will already have should have all the employees' information.
Not the employee's information.
The
So
deduction information.
why what's the purpose of it though? Why are you setting up employee defaults? Why is it necessary that I need to say that so this is the employee defaults window, right? Why is it necessary that I need to list out all of these information? Why do I need to say, okay, this person's gonna get they're gonna get a 401k plan. They're gonna have to pay Medicare. What's the point of setting up employee defaults?
Because it'll let you know how much the deductions are going to be.
No.
Because the tax.
No.
Like this is how do we charge them?
Yes, but is this for a particular person?
No, it's like for the system of the company.
Okay, no.
Does it have to do with the paycheck?
It has to do with certain individuals' paychecks. What's the purpose of setting employee defaults?
To schedule payments of the employee.
No.
No?
To pay them.
No.
Then how do I pay my employees?
No. Yes, but okay. My question is, why set this up? What's the purpose of setting this up beforehand? Am I on a particular individual's profile? Am I setting up the individual and what their pay status is? Is this somebody I'm working on their profile for?
Yes, basically.
No. Okay, who's gonna get this?
The employee,
Who?
your worker.
Your
IRS?
no. Yes, your employees, but who? Is it gonna be Mike? Is it gonna be Katie?
Oh, it'll generate all the information.
It will generate
You'll have
all
to
the
keep
info.
repetitively putting it in.
Correct. Yes, that's the purpose of employee defaults is to save you time. So then the next time that you enter somebody else that's new in here, all this information will be filled in for you. Yes. So in this case, if I have a whole bunch of hourly workers, right? I can set it up. So then that means the next person I put in here, right? That's a new worker. I put in all their personal information, but all this payment information, all this payroll information is going to be filled in for me automatically because I set an employee default. Okay, so yes. So why? To save time to enter information for you automatically every time you enter a new employee. Okay? So if you already have an existing employee, it will not work. Only for every time you add in a new employee. And the great thing is you can always change employee defaults to enter in a new set of employees. So that's the purpose of this. And how? It's straightforward. You go to the employee center, right? Top of the window, you have manage employees. And then you have set employee defaults. Okay, so let me double check just to make sure that wording is correct. So first you go to your employee center. You're going to click manage employees, and then you're going to change new employee defaults. Okay, there you go. Change new employee defaults.
You click on the employee center, manage employee information,
Mm-hmm.
change new employee default. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to follow you.
Good. Okay. All right. Next section is chapter 11, payroll process. Okay. How do I run payroll? How do I process my payroll? How do I initiate my payroll? Okay, so this is referring to the workflow down here. How do I initiate my payroll?
Go to the employee pay, to the pay employee center, payroll center.
Okay. No.
You say, how do you pay them?
How do I initiate the payroll process? Yes, so in this case, you start by paying your employees. Okay. Well, in this case, you would actually start with entering their timesheet in. Then you would pay their employees. After that, you got to pay the liabilities. And then after that, you got to file the forms for them. Okay. Now, again, paying liabilities and filing forms usually, okay, so paying your employees happen every however frequently you will pay them. So every 2 weeks, let's say. Paying your liabilities can happen every quarter. Filing forms happen every year. So in this case, that's how you initiate the payroll process. So if you have enter time will go first. Then your pay employees. then pay liabilities, and then file form. Okay. How and why to pay payroll liabilities. Why is it so important that you pay your payroll liabilities? The how is pretty straightforward, right? You just click pay liabilities on the homepage. Why is it so important that you need to pay your payroll liabilities?
Some of those funds go out to different agencies.
Okay, but who in particular are they going to?
Your deductions,
Not deductions.
your benefits.
Why is it so important to pay your payroll liabilities?
That would be your taxes, wouldn't it?
Yes. So why do you need to pay taxes?
Because you don't want Uncle Sam to come knock on your door.
In this case, this isn't Uncle Sam because this is a payroll liability,
Okay.
not sales tax. What's the price of having somebody to work for you?
They're giving you a service.
As a company, if we want to have employees, what's my price? What do I have to pay? There's more than just paying them for what their job entails. I have to protect them, right?
So you collected from the employee and
Correct.
you need to pay this
Who am I paying?
collected
The
to the government.
The government. You're paying federal and state taxes for having employees. Is that not right? That's right, right? What are the federal taxes that I am obligated to have to pay my employees?
Withholding.
We have to pay, well, okay, technically that comes out of their check. Yes, we got withholdings. What else? The most important one.
Social Security.
Social Security. What else?
Medicare.
Yes, Social Security and Medicare. Yes, it is our responsibility for having employees. We have to pay into their portion of the Social Security and Medicare. That's a federal responsibility. Is that not right? Okay, so I'm going to put right here federal and state taxes. Company, and employees are responsible for paying into these taxes, right? State taxes is going to be obviously going to be subjective to what state that you belong into. Okay, so in this case, the state of Nevada, we don't pay any state taxes, but the state of California, they pay into their own withholdings. They pay into the disability. They pay into unemployment. Actually, no, we still pay for unemployment as a company. But yes, state is going to be whatever is subjective. Okay? Unemployment. Okay? Et cetera, et cetera. Okay? Okay, and then how do I pay my liabilities? Straightforward. You could just click pay liabilities on your home page. Remember, there's two other ways that you could do it. Okay, you could do it through the employees menu bar. Okay, and you could do it at the employee center as well. Okay, how to prepare payroll forms. So 940 and 941. Okay, that's straightforward. All you do is click file forms. Okay, this one is meant for tax accountants only. Okay, they know how to properly file these taxes, but the 940 and the 941 is straightforward, right? That's your federal taxes that you're paying. Okay. Chapter 9, time and billing, okay? Tracking time and using it for payroll and invoicing customers. So let's talk about using time tracking for payroll. Okay, so that one's straightforward, right? In this case, when we do it for payroll, right, what we're doing is we're keeping track of the time spent on the job. Okay, right? They work for us for 40 hours. What are the items that they did to actually work for us? Okay, timesheet, straightforward. It's automatic when it comes to payroll. Now, what happens when I want to use the timesheet to invoice my customers? How do I do that? How do I use my timesheet to invoice it to my customers?
Go to the edit menu and choose preference and select time and expenses.
No, I'm doing that now because I don't.
And then go to your company preference. Company preference. Oh, it's right there. Do you want to track time?
Activating time.
Okay, so that's just activating time. Now, in this case, how do I use the time tracking or the timesheet? So right here, if I use my enter time, right? How do I use that to bill my customers? What's the most important thing that you need to know? So here's my timesheet. How do I invoice my customers? So if I say I did Anderson wedding for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I did Bob Mason for Tuesday and Thursday, and I did Maria Cruz for Friday, how do I bill them?
What do you make billable items
Correct.
in sheet?
You pass the bill along by selecting billable. Good. Okay. So again, enter in items in timesheet. Assign customer / job and check mark billable. Good. Okay. To pass the invoice, the invoice to the customer. Good. Let's see. Ooh, we have quite some more time, quite some more to go. Okay. All right. So next section is reports. Okay. Reports is actually a very large chunk of the exam. Okay. As you can see at the top of here, it says it is about 16%, which is approximately 8 questions. So it's a huge part that you know how to use reports and what good of those reports are used for. Okay, so why and how to use this report center. Okay, so what is the report center? Okay, how do we use it?
How do we use report center?
How is pretty straightforward, right? Once you look at the report center, you'll know what to do. Okay, but what is the report center?
It holds all your reports for sales, for your accounts payable. It should hold all your reports, right? For different things that you would need reports on.
Correct. So in this case, report center. It's just an overview of all the reports that you can create in QuickBooks. Right? That's it. Right? And it's categorized based on what topic that you're looking for, whether it's sales, whether it's accounting information, whether it is people, right? Contact information, list, okay? And then, of course, you have these 4 tabs at the top too for your memorized reports and everything, okay? So, again, that's what the report center is. It is a center with all reports that can be created for QuickBooks. Created in QuickBooks, excuse me. Okay. All right. Now, how to use it is straightforward, right? Like I've mentioned, right? When you open up the report center, how do you use it? It's straightforward. You just create your reports. Nothing difficult about that. Okay? So I'll skip that part. Now, let's talk about what is the purpose of creating reports. What is the purpose of creating reports? Why do you need to create reports?
It can tell you your profit and loss.
It can tell you more than that.
It can tell you basically everything that you're inputting, and like can you get graphs? I don't know.
Yes, you
It'll
can.
tell you where you are in your company.
Good. It answers any question you have in particular to the company. So again, example, profits, right? Right? You want to know what your profits are. You want to know how many items you sell, right? Right? So items sold. You want to know where your shipments are. So open purchase orders. Right? It will answer any question that you have in particular about the company. So whether it's profits, losses, customer information, you want a list of all your customers? Well, here you go. Right? How many customers do you have? Well, I can produce a customer list, right? All right. How? Straightforward. Now, what are the 2 different types of reports? There are 2. Okay, you got your accounting reports and you have your business management reports. Now, in your book, it tells you the significance about these 2 different reports. You could have this on your exam. Okay? What is the difference between accounting reports and business management reports?
I would say the accounting report would be more intricate
How
than the
so?
business management report. It would have more of a breakdown for the accountant to see where the business is, where the money is flowing. Does that
Well,
make
can't you do that with a sales report?
Yeah.
Okay, and a sales report is a business management report, is it not?
Management report. Hmm.
In your book, there's a
Well, it says
chart.
here, accounting reports help you analyze the performance of your business, and it is a summary of the transactions of the business.
Well, business management reports are also a summary of all your transactions. I'll give you an example, right? A profit and loss is going to be an accounting report, whereas a business management report would be a sales report.
But the accounting report gives you the financial status of your company.
Financial status.
Yeah.
You're getting closer.
That's the income statement.
The income statement is an accounting report. All right, so I'll go ahead and give this one to you, but you guys need to know. You definitely really need to know what the differences are. The difference we hear for the accounting reports is you are creating reports on the accounts that exist that are in QuickBooks. So anything that has to do with your chart of accounts is going to be anything that you can make a report on. So if I want a report of all of my balance information in all my accounts, I would run a trial balance, or I could run a general ledger account list, right? Where my business management is going to be dealing with items, is dealing with people, lists, okay? So again, every single chapter has a specific detail, right? If I want to list on my employees, how so, right? That doesn't necessarily have to do anything with my accounts per se, but it does have to do with my items, right? If I'm listing my employees, my contact information for my employees, right? That's what I can get for a business management. What's the most important about that? Maybe I need to contact my employees. Same thing with a customers list, right? Who are my customers that are the ones that keep coming back? Who are the vendors that I am using as suppliers? Okay, so business management is going to be dealing with anything like items, okay, lists, people, okay, where your accounting reports only strictly deal with accounts. Accounts are very general, right? They could be applied for a vendor, customer, or a employee, right? But in this case, anything that's on your chart of accounts. So I'm going to put in parentheses, chart of accounts. Okay. All right, and you also need to know what the two important accounting reports are in QuickBooks. Okay. Like what kind, like the financial statements, which ones are the most important ones for QuickBooks, okay? How do you customize a report? How do you customize a report?
Select edit menu and then
No.
difference.
No. How do you customize a report?
For the account report.
No. For any report.
Go to the program. At the top where it says reports or on from your home menu. I'm sorry, or your home page.
There is no such thing as a reports menu on my homepage.
Okay, I see it at the top right here for
This is the
report.
report
Reports
center.
menu. That's a reports menu.
That's the reports menu. Okay.
Report icon on the icon bar.
Reports menu, custom reports.
Reports menu. Custom reports.
Let's see that. Memorize schedule. Custom.
Reports menu.
Reports menu.
Inventory account control. Yes. I don't see it. Schedule? No. Custom. Oh wow. Biggest day.
Nope. Because if I click on custom reports, it says help me choose a
Help me
report.
choose,
Help me
summarize.
summarize a report. That's not how you customize a report.
Now,
Nope. Does it tell you to customize a report? No, it says help me choose one and help me summarize one and what transaction detail. So in this case, no. Good try though.
So building customer report or different?
We're not building a customer report, we're customizing a report. How do I customize a report?
Would that be a new making?
No, there's no new report.
That'd be a new.
Nothing new. No. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Let's do the very first one. So I want my profit and loss summary report. If I double click on this, right? How do I customize it now?
you click on the customize.
Click on the customize button at the top of the window. Now, if I customize it, what are the 4 options I have to customize it?
Display tab.
Right? What does display tab do?
You can change the date of the range.
You can change the date of the range. You can change the columns. You can change what information shows on the report. Okay? What does filters do? What does headers and footers do? What does change?
Customize it to the way that you want it.
Yes, and the fonts and colors, you could choose the color schemes and whatever you want on there. So in this case, that's what you gotta do. You first have to create the report, and then top of the window, click on customize. Okay, so I gave you an example in chapter 6 where I took a customer address contact info and I created it into a mailing address and I changed it the way I want it to look. Okay, so make sure you do know what those 3 different tabs are. It could be a question on the exam. Okay,
Your exam?
say that again.
Your exam or
It could be on both certification exam, my exam, whatever exam.
okay.
Okay. What is the basic questions that a report can answer? We already talked about that. Okay. How and why to send reports to Excel? What's the purpose of that? Why? How is easy. You just click on Excel and then export it. Okay. But why is it important for you to send the report to Excel?
Can you, in Excel, you have different features that you can make the report, like with the graphs and everything?
Correct. Extra, what was I thinking about?
Features?
Extra features, yes, extra features, and further customization. Okay, so for example, the graphs with Excel, you can change the colors, but in QuickBooks, no, you cannot change it. You cannot designate a color for a specific graph. You would have to manually do that through Excel. Okay, change colors of graphs. Okay. All right, how to process multiple reports. Only one way to do that. Okay, this is straightforward. You guys know what processing multiple reports means, right? You're creating more than one report, okay, at the same time. So the question is, how do I do that in QuickBooks? How do I process multiple reports in QuickBooks?
Is that a batch?
Not a batch.
Go to reports
Go to reports. Where?
and then
Reports menu. Good.
and then process multiple reports.
Good. Excellent. So you're going to do that. Process multiple reports. Good.
You get a window that says process multiple reports.
Ooh, say that again.
You get a pop-up window that says process multiple reports.
Yes, correct. Okay. How and why to send reports to Excel. We already answered that. I forgot that was an extra question on there. Okay. How to memorize reports. First, let's talk about why it's so important to memorize reports, how we locate it, okay, or where, and how. How do we create it? Or actually, we should do how first and then where. Okay, so first, why is it so important to memorize reports?
The report will give you the closing date of the fiscal year.
Not necessarily. You can customize it that way. Why have QuickBooks remember this report? That's what memorize means, right? Why are you telling QuickBooks to remember this report?
You can save the format.
Mm,
No?
excellent. Okay, why is it so important? To save the custom report for future use, right? You're saving it so then when you need to use it again, you can have all the changes saved to that custom report, right? Okay. Now, how do I memorize a report?
You said, how do you memorize it?
Mm-hmm.
Click the memorize button in the toolbar at the top of the modified report window.
Excellent. You just click on memorize and then you'll get a pop-up window where you want to save it. Okay. How? Click memorized at top of reports window. Okay? And where would I be able to find it once I saved it, memorized it, and I want to use it now? Where would I find it? Where can I locate this?
Will it be in your reports?
Reports what? Your reports what?
Will it be with all your reports when you click the report thing at the top? Report button?
Yes.
Yeah, reports, and then memorize reports,
Good. So
and
you're gonna
then memorize report list. You can choose from there.
correct. Good. So in this case, this window that you're referring for is the report center. Okay.
Reports.
Report center, top tab, click on memorize.
Oh, I see. There's standard, memorize, favorites.
Mm-hmm. Good. All right.
Those are the tabs.
Those are the tabs at the top of the report center. Correct. Good. All right. We have just a couple more left to go. All right. We're running slowly at a time, but that's okay. We'll just spend an extra couple minutes to finish this up. Customizing for shortcuts and to save time, which is 12% of this exam. So this part right here, we skipped right here, is chapter 14. How and why to memorize transactions. Let's first talk about, oh wait, hold on. I skipped a whole section. Oh, we have two more. Okay. All right, so first section here is going to be basic accounting information. So again, chapter 6. What are the basic financial statements? Okay. In QuickBooks, there are 3. Okay. There are 3 financial statements that are very important to QuickBooks. And what are they? Kim, you should know this.
Would that be your income statement?
Correct. Income statement. What else?
Cost of goods sold and then expenses?
That's part of the income statement.
You have the general ledger.
Nope, that's not one of them.
No,
Mm-mm.
profit and loss.
Profit and loss, which is also known as your income statement. Okay.
Company and
So in QuickBooks, it's called the profit and loss. Okay. Straightforward. What does the profit and loss tell you? It tells you whether your business made a profit or a loss. Okay. What's the next financial statement?
Balance sheet.
The balance sheet. What does the balance sheet do?
Shows the financial position.
Financial position.
Assets, liabilities, and equity accounts are given.
Correct, which we call that the accounting equation. It tests the accounting equation. Okay, which is your assets equals your liabilities plus equity. And the last statement.
Statement of cash flow.
Statement of cash flows. Okay, literally it shows you where your money is, or in this case, cash. Where
the money is
your cash flows in and out of the company. Okay. Oh, where's the end parentheses? Okay. I'm gonna ignore it. So now, what is the differences between cash and an accrual basis? Okay, you need to know the difference between these two.
Cash and accrual.
I'll go ahead and leave that for you guys to be able to fill in yourselves. It is in the report section. It tells you what cash basis and accrual basis does. Okay, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
skip that.
that's page 214. Cash versus accrual reporting.
Okay. All right, chapter 14. Okay, adjustments. How and why to set a closing date. What's so important about setting a closing date?
It should kind of give you a window of the time that you have to work with.
Maybe, okay. But that's not the real purpose of why you need to set a closing date.
To set the closing of the accounting period.
Yes. But why? What does it do? What does setting a closing date do?
It locks all the transactions
It
of the
locks.
accounting period.
Good. Locks up the accounting transactions for a certain time period in the accounting period. Good. Why is that important? Okay, to prevent fraud. Okay, prevent other people from entering in transactions. Okay, how do I set the closing date?
From the edit menu, go to preferences, company preferences, and then set the date.
Okay, now what tab did you say you pressed? All I heard was edit preferences, company preferences. What tab did you choose?
Accounting preferences.
Accounting preferences, company preferences. Okay, set closing date. Excellent. Okay, there's also another way to do that too. You could go through the company menu, set closing date. So how edit menu preferences accounting set closing date. Okay. All right. How to create a general journal entry if asked to do so. Okay. How do I create a general journal entry?
Select the company menu
So,
and then
okay,
choose make general entry.
good. Company menu,
Mhm.
make general journal entries. Okay, make sure you know why you need to create general journal entries, right? It's to make adjustments, to correct your mistakes and errors, to recategorize, right? We talk about this in chapter 14, so yes. And make sure you know why, right? And then chapter 1, how does debits and credits work, right? So how do you use the debits and credit system? All right, what is the accounting equation?
The debit's the credit and the credit's the debit.
Okay. Well, you have to be a little more elaborate right there. What do you do? How do you use it in a transaction? how does the debit credit system work? So in this case, this is going to be referring to the accounting model, okay? If you don't know what the accounting model is, go into the Google Classroom, open up the Chapter 1 PowerPoint, and I will show you the graph of the 5 major accounts that exist and how a debit affects a certain account type and how a credit affects a certain account type. That's what it means here, is how do you use the debit credit system and how does it work, okay? So we're
This is
referring
chapter
to
1,
Chapter 1.
the module.
The accounting model, correct. It's the one that has the 5 accounts with a bunch of arrows going up and down.
Okay.
Okay? What is the accounting equation?
Assets equals liabilities plus equity.
Good. Assets equals liabilities plus equity. Okay? Good. All right. All right, customizing for shortcuts. So this section here. So the last section here, right? Let's go ahead and go over it.
Customizing.
So in this case, right, chapter 14, all right? How and why to use memorized transactions. Let's talk about how first. Or no, let's talk about why. Why is it so important to memorize transactions and how do we do it?
We just finished that.
Well, when you're memorizing the transaction, you can always come back to it to see it, right?
What's the purpose of doing that though? Why do you need to see that transaction?
If you frequently enter the same transaction or similar one, you can memorize it and schedule it.
Good. For frequent, or we call this reoccurring, okay? Bills, invoices, whatever it is, right? Bills, whatever that you have that's reoccurring, you can memorize it to save it into your QuickBooks. So then the next time you need to use it, right? You have it already available and it will fill in the information for you. And all you have to do is just save and close. Okay, so another sense, okay, it's for frequent or reoccurring bills, invoices, whatever that it is, purchase orders, whatever type of form, right? To save time from entering a new one every time, right? It just helps you save time, okay? How do I memorize a transaction? And where would I be able to find it? Let's talk about how. How do I memorize a transaction?
Select memorize transaction list from the list menu.
That's where you're going to find it. Okay.
Saying select the memorize transaction from list menu or
Okay.
cat tree, a cat and plus T.
You are not needing to know keyboard shortcuts for anything except for the F2 function key, right? Now in this case, yes, that's where to find it, but how do I create it in the first place before I can locate it?
Like a bill,
Okay, make a bill.
and then click memorize on top.
Create bill with the data. Before saving the bill, select memorize bill from the edit menu.
Yeah, it's gonna be at the top of the window. You don't need you don't need to have to go to the edit menu for any reason. It's gonna be at the top of the bill. So let me close this out. Let me close this out. So if I go to enter bills, right? Okay, I type in all my information here, and then at the top of the window, I have memorize right there. Okay. Now, make sure you know there are 3 things that you cannot memorize. Okay. So make sure you do know what those are. Okay.
Bill
All right.
payment,
You cannot memorize. What was that? Bill payment?
receive payments, and paycheck.
You cannot do bill payments. Cannot memorize bill payments, receive payments, and what was it? Paychecks.
Paycheck.
Good. Okay. All right. Chapter 12, how to set up multiple users and what level of access that each person can be granted, okay? So let's talk about setting up users first. Setting up users and then switching to user mode.
From the edit menu, go to preferences.
No,
No?
no, not to set up a user. That's to set user preferences, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about setting up users to have access to the file.
Oh.
Yeah.
Would that be in the employees?
No,
I thought that is where you would go.
no, it's not. No.
Company management, no.
Company management.
Multiple users. I'm lost.
How do I
Did
set
you
up?
do that in the interview?
No.
No. In the employee interview page? No, there is none. Would that be at the select employee,
No.
employee center?
No.
Manage employee information. Setting up employee payroll? No.
That's setting up employees. This is setting up users to have
The
access
access to the company
file.
files.
So this is chapter 12. It's at the very, very end of chapter 12.
Users and passwords.
Users and passwords. Where do you find that? Where do you find set up users and passwords?
Company menu.
Company menu. Good. Company menu.
I thought it was gonna be there in the preferences.
No, 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 no.
So
That's
company
page 483.
Set up users and passwords. Okay. Good. How do,
company,
yep. And yeah, company menu for that one. Okay. Now, in this case, I'm going to tell you this. You must be the admin in order to create other users. Okay? If you're not the admin, you cannot create other users. Okay? How do I change from single user mode to multi-user mode? How do I switch from single user mode to multi-user mode? Okay? What's the difference between single user mode and multi-user mode?
It would be just one person or a group.
Okay, so under single user, you only have one person accessing the file, right? One person. Okay? While multi-users, right? You can have more than one person accessing the file, the company at the same time. Okay. Now, how do I switch? How do I change it so then other people can use the file at the same time as me?
manage user list.
Nope. How do I make my file be able to have multiple users access it? How do I change from single user mode to multi-user mode? I believe it's also before setting up the user and password, it tells you how to do it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. If I go to File on my company, File menu,
Multiple users.
switch to multiple users. Yes. Switch to multiple user mode. Okay. So, how do I do that? You're going to File menu, switch to multi-user mode. Okay. All right. Last two questions of the day. Okay, chapter 7, customizing QuickBooks. Okay, how and why to create custom fields. What's so important about creating custom fields? So let's talk about why and then how. Why is it important to create custom fields. And then you need to know the rule.
To track information of your customers.
How so? I can track my customers by their invoices, by their sales receipts. I could track them by their addresses. I could track them by their contact information. What makes this custom field different between that?
You define the fields.
What is it that I'm defining?
Is that where you can like list certain things about each customer to help you when you're interacting with them?
You,
Correct. Good. Additional info about a person, doesn't have to be a customer, it could be about your employees, it could be about your vendors, about a particular person that helps you manage your business better, right? What is the purpose of having that? It's to strengthen relationships, right? It's all about networking, if you don't know already. Right? Relationships, right? What difference would it make if you knew something about your employee, right? It will make a huge difference because the employee is more likely to work for you if you care for them. If you care to ask them about their family, great. Then they're more inclined to want to work for you because, wow, my boss actually cares about me. Okay? It's a means to strengthen a relationship or to better your business by gathering extra personal information about a particular person. Okay? Now, how do I create that? How do I create a custom field?
I guess you could set up that kind of information when you're doing the customer profile.
Good. On person's profile. Okay. What tab do I need to be in?
additional info.
Additional info. Okay. And what is under additional info? You have the custom
Profile.
fields section. And below there, you have define fields. Okay. What is the rule? How many total fields can you create and how much can each person have?
Is it 5 and 7? 7 and 5.
7 per person.
And 5 topics?
5 for items, yes.
Okay.
But what's the total amount that you can have?
It was a lot of I forgot.
If each,
Actually,
go ahead.
11?
Not 11.
15.
15. You can create a total of 15 custom fields. Okay. 7 per customer or per person. Okay. And then 5 for items. But in this case, I don't teach you that section. Okay. All right. Last question of the day. How do you customize templates? So invoices, statements, sales receipts, purchase orders. How do I customize these templates? Well, first let's talk about why. Why do we need to customize our own templates? And then we'll talk about how. what is so important about customizing our invoices, our sales receipts, our customer statements? Why is that so important?
To create an image, personalized image.
Yes, to market yourself, okay? For marketing purposes, okay? To make your company unique, stand out, okay? Right? Especially if you have a company logo, that's going to differ you than someone who just doesn't have a company logo and just sends you a spreadsheet with all the information that you have, right? It will make it more unique. Now, how do I customize those templates?
Select the list menu and
List.
then choose template.
Mm-hmm.
This list show the standard template that come with a QuickBook,
Mm-hmm.
as well as any form template the user
Mm-hmm.
may have create.
Okay, so in this case, you have the choice. You can either modify an existing one, which is recommended, existing standard template into it offers, or you can create a new template using the template
From
wizard. I forgot what that template wizard is. The
templates drop down menu, create new.
no, there's another one. So you go here, list. We're gonna go to templates. Okay. I'm gonna click on a random one. What is this called? It is called the Layout Design Manager. Okay.
Layout design manager.
Mm-hmm.
New
Okay.
template.
Say that again.
From the new template menu,
From the new template menu.
layout design.
Yep, Layout Design Manager, whatever one it's called. Okay. And that allows you to customize how you want to use or how your invoice or your template wants to look. Okay. All right. All right. So I will save this file right here and upload it onto the Google Classroom. Okay. Good job, everybody. Okay. So again, when I say this and I